We really do respect the fans, appreciate their passion. We understand their anger, we understand their frustration. We really did take that into account in this decision.
That was Bob Nutting, owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, in response to some very angry fans. Upon the trade of Andrew McCutchen and Garrett Cole, many would go on to say that Nutting was actually trying to lose.
In the last 6 months, we lose Kutch, the Logjammer, and Sally Wiggins retires. What is this city going to have left?
Or at least the carelessness and the consistently bad decisions by GM Neil Huntington was the reason that Pirates went from second in the NL Central in 2013, 14, and 15, all the way to a 75 and 87 team last year. But now that's all come to an end. Huntington has walked the plank.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
So, first order of business, let's evaluate the talent. We can't have another Pedro Alvarez situation where arguably he was rushed to the league way too fast. Now, the Pirates are currently in the middle of a rebuild, and my gut tells me not to trust the Huntington rebuild at all. But it's in my best interest not to fully rebuild, but rather to, retool the team a little bit. Yeah, this series, it's going to be a realistic retool, not a rebuild. With that, let me explain what you can expect for this series. Our goal, of course, is to complete the the retooling process with some, rebuilding maybe along the way to make the Pittsburgh Pirates a contender and win a World Series. There will be some simulating, but none of which you will see. Episodes will be created and uploaded in the following way. I'll play one game of each series at the MLB level, simulating the rest. After games, we'll cover roster movement, standings, statistics for the MLB teams. Now, for the minors, we'll only play one AAA or AA game each month of the season. Now, in both of those, I'm only going to play the first 3 and last 2 innings of every game on Legend difficulty. They say games are won and lost in the first 3 and last 2 innings of every game. So we're going to put that to the test. In addition, Baseball America will be covering the progress of the franchise, highlighting 2 prospects as well as a full organizational progress update at the end of each month. Now, to put this all together, you can expect about 12 episodes covering everything which I've just mentioned each month of the MLB season. Lastly, the draft, all-star break, playoffs, and the offseason will get their own episodes. Now, let's take a quick look at the talent on the roster. There are some key prospects like right-handed pitcher Mitch Keller, third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes down in AA Altoona, outfielders Austin Meadows and Jordan Luplow in AAA Indianapolis, and lastly, right-handed pitcher Shane Baz down in Single A. These are guys that we're going to build around, but they've got a long ways to go to be the stars for this Pittsburgh Pirates team. At the MLB level, Felipe Rivero, Starling Marte, Jameson Taillon, Josh Harrison, and Josh Bell are clear standouts to build around, but unfortunately, we're going to have to make some key decisions really quickly on Harrison and a few others who are in their final year of the contract. Now, with Harrison right now, he appears to be happy, but there's been some rumblings in the locker room that he wants out after the departure of Kutch.
Well, it's been very important for me. Any of us that are in this locker room have been blessed, and any way we can give back is something that I'll look forward to doing.
But the position players aren't the biggest things to worry about for the Pirates. Take a look into this Pirates bullpen. Outside of Rivero, you only see George Contos and Kevin Seagrease as capable pitchers at the MLB level. This is the most glaring hole that needs to be addressed ASAP. And I'm not really sure how we're going to do it. We don't have much to trade. We don't have that many prospects. And our budget is only $78 million. To put that in context, the Red Sox budget is $160 million. Also, there's going to be a huge positional gap between the MLB and the minor leagues. This gap is so intense, if any of these starters, with the exception of a couple, were to leave, we would be looking at a double-digit drop in OVR for the next capable person on the depth chart. This is going to be a crazy challenge, but I'm up for it. Also, shout out to Tanner Anderson, worst player on the team, 48 overall. Dude, actually, I'm calling this right here. Tanner Anderson, we were going to keep you. We're going to keep you on this roster as long as possible, and we're going to get you to the majors. Now back at at it. Oh, but that does bring me to a question I know you guys have. Will I do subs as drafted players and try and bring them to the major leagues? Yes, we will have you submit your player in a Google form and do a wheel decide each draft, to change the name of the player. But that's it, nothing else. No skin tone, no hair, no batting stance, all of that. Just names and names alone. Now, going into the realistic version of this franchise, I know a lot of you guys are wondering about that too. I know many of you are going to want me to go out and get Vlad Jr. or trade for Bo Bichette or even get Tim Tebow on the squad, but only if it makes sense. Only if there's an opportunity that makes sense realistically in the major leagues, which for those three guys, I think it could be difficult. Maybe for Tebow, but definitely not for Bo and Vlad. See, I want this series to be as realistic as possible. Now, the Seattle Mariners franchise that we're doing to the side, that's going to be a thing for fun, but for here, this Pirates franchise, we're going to try and run this thing just like an MLB GM. So, Theo Epstein, I'll be seeing you real soon, buddy. So, without further ado, let's get this thing started. Let's take the Buccos from a middle-of-the-road team with light prospects and not so much of a hopeful future to World Series champions. A Pirate's life is for me. Let's get it.